Honorable Justice Datta, Mr. Mukherjee, dear Vice Chancellor Professor Chakrabarti, Swati Padia, distinguished members in the audience, members of the faculty, members of students body, SJA, those who participated in the essay competition and those who won and presented their papers today. First of all, apologies, I entered late, that shouldn't happen, and maybe that's the pitfall, or such are the pitfalls of working in corporate sector. I was just wondering whether it's a message to me that while the student body had very kindly asked me to join the panel today, and when I got late, I was wondering whether that's a message to me that I have still not earned my place at this high table. But thank you very much. I am so very happy that I could make it, and I am here today at NUJS because this is the place where 23 years ago I started my journey as a student of law with my batchmates, some of whom are here today, and we spent 5 best years of our life. The idea of being associated with a function or program like this came to me almost 2 years ago when I got into this role of General Counsel at Tata's, and I entered their headquarters, which is known as Bombay House. It is very close to the Bombay High Court and it's an iconic building. But it's the same place where Mr. Palkhivala spent most of his later part of life. As you know, he was a director on the board of Tata Sons, and apart from being the foremost advocates of the country. So that was my little connection. When that was established, I was thinking, what is it that as a student of law, I can be or I should be doing something in his memory. And when I discussed with some of my colleagues, some of whom are here, they are also from NUJS, and so we thought of doing something, and the occasion came earlier this year when on 24th of April, it was 50 years of Keshwananda Bharati judgment. And we thought this is an occasion not only to celebrate the judgment, but also to remember the giant that Mr. Palkhivala was. And it so happened that around the same time, some members of the student body were there in Mumbai, and they met with me. And we thought we must do something with the university. And that is how this idea of organizing this essay competition, culminating into today's conclave, came about. And it's a pleasure to be associated with it. And I'm so glad and happy that we've done this and this is happening today. I'm also thankful and grateful to Palkhivala Memorial Trust for collaborating with NUJS in organizing this conclave and supporting this initiative. When SJ discussed the theme for today's conclave, I think one thing was clear, that it has to be around constitutional law, because constitutional law was so close to Mr. Palkhiwala's heart. In fact, he was a true constitutionalist at heart. And if I can just quote from Granville Austin's book, where he says that a constitution is inert. It has to be worked. It doesn't work on its own, it has to be worked. And it has to be worked by citizens, the stakeholders. I think Palkhivala, when he argued most of his cases, he did not argue those cases just as an advocate for his client. I think he was truly committed to constitutional principles, and he questioned the assumptions, and he molded the constitution in a way that we all can be proud of. And that is how we thought that today's theme will be so relevant in his memory. Even if I say, I won't speak much, but I'm just sharing what I feel as a student of law. So even the basic structure of judgment or the doctrine, I've often wondered, what is the strength of it? Is it that one vote extra on the bench that carries it through? Is it the 13 judges strength of the Supreme Court that gave this judgment is upholding the basic structure. I think it is much more than that. Because the principles that were laid down by that judgment were so basic, it invoked the most fundamental principles that any democratic society must adopt. And whatever, we have a noisy democracy, and it should be that way, but whatever it is, I think still we have democracy in the country. And if you have chosen democracy, then you have to believe in rule of law. If you believe in rule of law, you have to believe in independence of judiciary. Now, basic structure principles are all these basic fundamental principles to which, in a civilized society like ours, I don't see an alternative. And that is how this basic structure doctrine, I feel, in my humble submission, it still finds resonance. It will be debated, and it should be debated. In fact, Keshwananda Bharati judgment itself was a result of a debate. If precedents were the last word, we would not have had Keshwananda Bharati. But the principles of this great judgment that Mr. Palkhivala argued and constructed, I think was so fundamental that it appealed to everyone. And that is how when basic structure judgment was sought to be reviewed soon after, and Mr. Palkhivala argued against it. Justice Khanna has written in his book that that day Nani did not speak, divinity spoke through him. So that was the passionate advocacy that Mr. Palkhivala could do. And why he did so, not because he was just a lawyer, because he truly believed in these principles. I am so very grateful that we are celebrating that personality today in his memory and in this law school. We've all gathered to remember his legacy, and I am thankful to all of you for giving me this opportunity to be here today. I am really looking forward to listening to Justice Datta, Mr. Mukherjee, and once again, thank you very much. Thank you.